Thanks everybody for coming. Let's call our meeting to order. It is 6:34. We'll begin with the invocation and the pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day and the privilege to serve our community. Grant us wisdom to make decisions that are just, courage to act with integrity, and compassion to care for all, especially the most vulnerable. May our words and actions today reflect truth, unity, and the common good. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. That brings us to item 3 on our agenda, public comments. Cheyenne, do we have any comments today?
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, item 4 on our agenda is something a little special. This is a proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week, which is May 3rd through 9th. 2026. So I'll read the proclamation. Whereas the profession of municipal clerks is essential to the effective functioning of local government in Texas, ensuring transparency, accountability, and the smooth operation of municipal services. And whereas the office of municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas Texas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality while serving as a professional link between citizens and the local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas Texas municipal clerks serve as the official record keepers, managing vital documents, conducting municipal elections, providing legislative support, and ensuring compliance with laws and regulations in cities across Texas. And whereas municipal clerks demonstrate exceptional dedication, professionalism, and integrity in their work, often going above and beyond to serve their communities and facilitate the effective governance of local governments. And whereas the Texas Municipal Clerks Association represents more than 1,100 municipal clerks who contribute significantly to the success and efficiency of local government throughout the state of Texas. And whereas Municipal Clerks Week provides an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the invaluable work of municipal clerks, acknowledge their vital contributions to public service, and highlight the important role they play in the day-to-day operation of our cities. And whereas it is fitting that the city of Simonton take this opportunity to honor and thank Cheyenne Graham for her ongoing dedication, knowledge, and tireless service. Now therefore, I, Laurie Boudreaux, Mayor, do hereby proclaim the week of May 3rd, 2026 as Municipal Clerks Week in the city of Simonton, and encourage all residents to recognize the important work of Cheyenne Graham and join in celebrating her contributions to our community.
Thank you.
So you're doing great things for us, and we sure appreciate it. All right, moving on to item 5, consent agenda. We're going to take apart the consent agenda and look at those items one by one because supportive documentation for that wasn't already at one time far in advance, so I'll give you a little Cliff Note version for each item, and we'll see if we can't handle them in quick order. Item A, the monthly payment listing for December 25, that was previously approved and doesn't need any further action, so we'll remove item A from the agenda. Item B is the monthly financial statement for December 2025. The question raised at that meeting was that legal and maintenance seemed high. Supplemental documents define the attorney fees, consulting and maintenance, which was tree trimming by Yellowstone, categorized in a public mowing line item. So council, I've included the minutes, the approved minutes from that meeting, so you could see the notations of the questions. Then item 5B, number 1, is your reference material that's showing legal and professional of $3,464 paid to Olson & Olson. 5B number 2 is the legal and professional consulting reporting page, giving you each item that was paid in legal and consulting for a total of $6,962.25. Of note, in December, the December 2025 and January 2026 social media payments were made. And revenue management services, December 25 and January 26 were both paid. So that's $1,800 additional, I would say, that are paid from January at the end of the year, December 29th. And your third page of support, 5B number 3. This is repair and maintenance, which was the second category in question. $26,435 was spent on tree cutting. The city hired Yellowstone to do contract work for tree trimming. So when you put those together and look at the first page of your financial statement, this has not been modified, it's the same copy from December. You've got arrows on the first page at legal and professional. The total was $11,296. Those support items match that. And under maintenance and repair of $27,215. Of that, the $26,000 and change that was paid for the tree work, $26,435, is the unusual amount. So the reason those items were high has been defined. Do we have a motion on 5B, the monthly financial statement for December?
Madam Mayor, when do we ask questions? You want to wait for the motion? Just, I have a comment to make, or two.
Okay, go ahead and make your comment.
All right, so first of all, I want to tell you that I really appreciate the work you did. You did a lot of work to answer these questions, and I know it was a lot of work, and we did get this on 420 today with the additions, and didn't give us a lot of time, but it was enough time for me to come in at you all, for me to come in early. So when I look at your 5B number 1, the Olson and Olson, the only question I have on that is that there's a column that says check number and without a number in there. So do we pay them by credit card, so there would be no check
Olson
number?
and Olson is paid by ACH.
Okay. Make that note. And then on your second note, B2. On B2, the account number is 110-5258, says it's consulting. And when I look at the list of everything that's included in here, I guess I would question why, for instance, why Abby's a consultant, Reverend is a consultant, obviously. Eddie Peacock is a contract person also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you have RMS, and there are contract also?
Yes.
All right. So we have categories that would probably better categorize that as 110-5264, and I'll call it which is contracts. Because the contracts are contracts.
If the council would like to change that in the next budget year, you could certainly do that. They're budgeted in this bucket, so we're posting them in this bucket,
well,
where we've been doing professional and consulting. Legal was the first one, and then professional and consulting. You should do that, but we haven't changed it, and I don't recommend changing it in midstream because that's the way the budget is written.
Okay. And the other one was that the 26,000, which you explained as being the tree work. And again, I guess what you're saying is it comes under public mowing, but it's not mowing. It's not mowing. It's tree work, and it would be probably not being able to categorize it. Is that a fund view issue, or is it an issue with timing of the process, or what is the reason why public mowing is not just public mowing? And why tree removal wouldn't be under either a contract or a consultant or something else?
We didn't set up a line item for tree removal
So
because it's not an
miscellaneous.
ongoing every year expense. So
Okay.
we haven't created a place for that to live every single year in the budget. You can,
Well,
but it doesn't exist already because it's an unusual expense.
I agree, and so we could have just thrown it to miscellaneous then, right? Because we have a miscellaneous.
Well, we've had previous council members who had a request to not put things in miscellaneous if anything else seemed like it was a good fit. So we've tried to follow that.
Okay. That's something for the next budget. Yeah, I just was concerned about it. And then the same thing on the invoice, we have a check number for the first invoice, pre-work, but not a check number for the second invoice. Did we change method of payment?
We have not.
So there should have been a check number on the second one, 16,000?
As far as I know, well, I don't have the answer to that, Eric. If we paid the first one by check and then we were able to start ACH, but I'm not looking at it and I don't, that wasn't the question in December, so I didn't look that up.
Okay. So with all of that said, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the December 31st, 2025 financial statement.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Justin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous. All right, 5C. This also is a returning item. It's the January payment listing report. The question was, appears to be incomplete as no payment to Wallace Bank, no ACH payments, no cash or credit card payments. Payments to Wallace Bank are not listed in FundView that way. In FundView, we take the bank statement, this is the credit card statement, sorry, not the bank statement, and we put every single item that's on that credit card statement on its own entry. So if it's an Amazon bill or a restaurant bill or an electric company, whatever it is, each item is entered into FundView separately, so you see them on the reporting as office supplies or Amazon or lighting and wherever it goes. It also allows us to put each expense into its proper GL code. So you won't see payment on that monthly statement that says Wallace Bank. I did include 5C number 2. This is a transaction report right out of the Wallace Bank payment system so that council could see that those payments are made. We enter all of the items that are listed on the bill, make sure that the total we come up with when we do the manual entry into FundView matches the statement, and then we pay it. So we paid $2,338.16 in January 19th. But what you see in the FundView reporting is each item that was paid separately so that it belongs in the right category.
So
The other answers are ACH payments are noted in the report. They were there previously. If you look on the report itself, at the far left side, e-check indicates an electronic payment. So for example, the very first one is Eddie Peacock, says e-check. For the number, it says NA. That's how you'll know all of these that were electronic checks. And for the question about cash or the comment about cash, we do not accept or handle cash as a rule. So there's not reporting about that often because we're not accepting it in that way. There's no need to report it in front of
the two account numbers listed in the transaction report over the year, way past the year, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Are those credit card numbers for yourself and Cheyenne?
Some of this is prior to Cheyenne, but yes, it would be for the credit card holder.
Okay, so, okay. We got a new,
Okay,
we did get a new card for Cheyenne, right?
That's correct.
I didn't get my card until like a month ago, maybe.
Well, there's two people.
That's also why it's partly redacted. So that comes from the bank like that. I'm not putting the whole crop number. So if the questions raised for the January 2026 monthly payment listing have been answered, Then do we have a motion on item C?
I'll make a motion to pass item C, monthly payment listings for January 2026.
Thank you, Angela. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Justin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Post.
Motion carries. All right, item D. Get to the next report, since there's a lot of pages. Well, I tabbed it. All right, item 5D. This is January 2026 financial statement. I'm going to read the question and the answer since this one has about 10 items on it. Shortage of sales tax versus a report from revenue management. Just for a reminder, that is our third-party company that the responsibility is to collect and recover, report on sales tax that's collected from, it's gone to a different city or a different entity instead of Simonton where it belongs. Sales taxes, the answer is sales tax is received from the comptroller and accounted directly from their payment into our system, which is funded in the bank. We don't look at item that's not recovered yet. If it hasn't hit our bank, it doesn't make it into this report. Cedars interest not included in the report. I know we talked about this before, but I'll just say it again. Cedars accounts are investments, and they are not included in an operating report, your monthly operating. It's not where it belongs. It belongs with a quarterly, where you look at your investments. So the Cedars lines have not been removed from the fund use system. But it's more of a process to change those names or remove them than just going in and clicking a button. So we're working on that as to reduce confusion. Public safety budget showing $14,000. Mr. Duhan remembers flock safety being $7,000. That's unfortunate. A correction is that flock safety is $14,000 a year. Current month actual issues with AT&T. Didn't really specify what that question was, but I have included for you the payments that were made in January, one on the 3rd and one on the 13th, one for fiber and one for phone. EDCA sales tax seems low. Again, sales tax is received from the comptroller and accounted directly from their payment. This was January also, so lots of reporting in December. Somewhat typical for January. EDCA Cedars interest not included. That's the same issue about Cedars accounts or investments and not included in the monthly operating. EDCA marketing shows 0. Not sure what the intention there was because EDCA marketing budget is on page 19 of the monthly report. And EDCB has 0 for marketing. Again, EDCB marketing budget is on page 34. And finally, KSB Cedar account does not show interest. I'm repeating, and I know everybody's got the answer, but Cedar accounts are investments and they're not included in the operating report. If you'll need a second to look at page 19 and 34 or the attached phone bill, you're welcome.
Actually, the 19 and 34 questions were more on the expense, not the budget, I think. Yeah, for marketing. Because they do pay. And so I'll check that.
They do pay?
They pay to have it. But let me check now since we actually have it here. Look at 19. Yeah, see the current month actual is 0. I think that was the question, not the budget, it was the actual. Which is 0.
It may not have been transferred, and I'll have to look that up separately. Since we don't pay directly from those accounts at the bank, they have to be, I think it's called a journal entry. But I'll have to look that up since the question was unclear,
Okay.
if we need to know that.
And then all the questions about CDRs make sense, that they're investments. And I guess what we're missing then is an investment report that we don't get. Now, whether it been well, I don't know where it would be, except for the quarterly report.
It should be in the quarterly report.
Right,
There's
right.
not really a monthly investment report.
Right. So how many quarters?
That's right. All right. So council, do we have a motion on item D, the monthly financial statement for January 2026?
I'll make a motion to accept the monthly financial statement for January.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any no, opposed?
Nay.
All right, thank you. Motion carries. All right, item E, monthly payment listing for February 2026. This is new, so this one has not been with us before. I don't have any supplemental items to add to this payment report. The two things that are a little bit different, although they're not big numbers, there are two refunds to vendors that paid for permits for the Christmas roundup, and when the roundup was canceled, we owed them their registration fees back. So you'll notice two $80 credits. Well, it's an expense to us, but it's money owed back to them.
So where was the money received? Was it received to us or received to KSB? Or to KSB?
It's received to operating,
Okay,
and then adjustments are made, like I was mentioning a minute ago about journal entries,
okay.
to KSB.
So if we collect a permit for KSB, well, maybe it's not for KSB, we give the permit to the food truck or whatever, and
So-
then we retain the money?
It depends on which portion of the money it is. The participation fee, I'm going to call it, for being in the event that's part of the fundraiser goes to KSB. The administration part goes to the city to pay for the administration work that goes on. Track money, do the permits and all that kind of
So
stuff.
that
So,
makes sense. So
It
this is
depends on
$80.
which, huh?
This is $80 that we got, not what they might have gotten. That might also be.
All of the money is going to flow in and out of the operating account, which is what you're looking at here. And then a journal entry can be made, is made, should be made, depends on which item we're talking about. And we have our CPA firm do that.
So when you say journal entry, you're talking about a fund you entry to give money to KSB?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
fund review entry saying, this came into the city, this belongs to KSB, so we'll move this money to KSB and leave this money for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Who does the journal entries? All of them are done through the county, from
Yes.
the accountants?
Yeah,
Not
Peacock.
in it.
Eddie Peacock or his team.
So, on the payment report, because you've answered all the things previously, which would have been the same questions I would have had, I would say that we could, as far as it being complete,
So are you making a motion?
I'm about to. Yes. I'd like to move that we accept the payment report for February 1st to February 28th as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Angela? All in favor?
Aye.
you, that's unanimous. All right, item F, monthly financial statement for February 2026. This one has a couple of items related to MITMOD, so I've added a couple of support pages for you about that. The first one labeled 5F number 1. And I apologize, we probably hole punched through the labeling at the top, so you might have to look for it in the corner near the ring binder. For account 100-10-5258, this is reference for legal and professional. There's an $11,272.80 payment to Langford, who is our grant administrator for the MITMOD grant. So that's more expensive than a normal in and out month. The reference for that is on page 9 of the regular report. And the second support item, which is labeled number 2, is a payment to LJA Engineering, also for the MITMOD, for $28,063.80. So when you look on the following page, 5F, which is your typical every month report, you'll see that legal and professional at $46,000 is significantly higher than the normal month, and that's why.
We're at discussion time?
Well, a motion or a question?
Question. So, again, when we take 110-5258, which is legal and professional, is the same issue of what's actually in it, but more importantly, the MITMOD project is part of the grant, correct? And so should it not be accounted for in the grant section of the reports? Both to take money away from the grant and whatever, we give it to us?
So the money is paid from the grant account, like literally paid from the grant account. The General Land Office deposits, they approve the payment one by one, then they fund our account, it goes directly to the grant account, and then when we pay that payment, we pay it directly from the grant account. So for the bank side, we can keep that nice and clear because it goes directly in and directly out of that account. It doesn't have to be managed or journal entry from our operating account.
Okay.
For the fund view side, I have on my list to potentially approve this item with one correction, which is the LJA portion, I believe should be moved to grants from engineering. I've asked FundView for an answer about that, and they haven't responded just yet. So we could approve it with a notation about if it belongs in a different bucket.
Talking about page 14,
Page 2.
which is 5F2?
Yeah, page 14
Yep.
for
5F.
LJA, that's right, the 28,000. Right now it's in regular engineering.
So it kind of goes along with what I just said about the others, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I
so that one,
appreciate
the grant management is in the right place, but I think engineering needs to move over to grant so that it doesn't go over the line item for regular engineering. Because we're tracking both typical engineering on projects, permits, and other things, plus engineering for the grant.
And all of this one is just engineering for the grant?
Yes.
Okay.
They're billing us separately so that it's easy to keep track. It all has to also be submitted to the General Land Office so that when the grant closes, every document, every payment,
Yes.
where it came from, it's already sitting right there, ready to go.
So it goes to the GLO first for approval before we do it?
Yes. And then they fund it.
Okay, and then we,
We've had grants before where they gave us the whole amount of money up front, and we would pay it, and you still have to document it, but they've decided in this one that they would rather make the interest money on their end and hold the money until a payment is due, and so this is being handled on a one payment at a time basis.
question, it's not really on where the bucket is, but it has to do with the grant on those two payments. Is this a portion, or how is that broken up? For Langford, the 11,272?
So there are milestones in the project. When you achieve X milestone or X deliverable, then a certain amount of money is releasable.
And that's a milestone payment?
Yes, for both of them.
On page 15, we have a summary for Keep Simonton Beautiful with no totals on it. Now, I think that the only thing is that we do keep Simonton Beautiful different, and it's in 500. So is there a need for this page at all?
I just should have not printed it. When you click the boxes of what you want to print, you can
Okay.
leave that out since it's old and not.
That's fine. No
Page
need.
43 is where Keep Simonton
Right.
Beautiful, the 500s are showing
Okay.
up.
39, yes. All right.
Actually, probably starts on page 40.
Are these old account numbers? Is that what they
Look at
are?
the one that's zeros.
Yeah,
In the
so-
100s, yes. It doesn't, we created the 500s to take it out of administration
Right, okay, so
so
these
that
are
it has
just
its
old
own.
account numbers.
This is just old and
It's a hanging chad.
Yeah.
we usually just pull it out or make sure we don't print it and I didn't catch it.
Can we actually delete it in Funview so it can even?
Well, they don't really like to delete anything in front of you because then the record's there for forever.
Okay.
So that kind of like the Cedars thing.
We can print it, we can remove all the zero items if we wanted to,
Yeah.
for the report.
When printing.
Right, when
yeah, for
when it prints out,
reporting
it's all
purposes,
zero balance.
Right. That's
So
one of
leave
the
title.
really
Yes.
important and beautiful things about
Yeah, it
Funview
keeps it
is
there.
that when it's in there, it's in there. If anybody opens an item, you can see who did it. If anybody makes an adjustment, you can see the history of every item. It's part of the benefits, features and benefits. All right, if we don't have any further questions on item F, monthly financial statement for February, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the monthly financial statements for February 26th with the change of the LJ Engineering to move to what is it?
Grants.
To grants.
To grants.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion as stated.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, that is unanimous. All right, item G and H are quarterly financial reports. They're not ready, so we're going to pull that from this agenda. Item 6, new business. Consider and take action on the City of Simonton Ordinance 2026-05. This is amending Ordinance 2026-03. I'll read the beginning. This is an interim development review ordinance requiring a special use permit for new development, redevelopment, or substantial improvement of property within the city limits pending adoption of a unified development code, providing definitions, application procedures, review criteria, and expiration, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. If you look on page 2, item D, exemptions. This is what's been added. I believe we talked about at our last meeting, we're adding language, pardon me, to exempt essentially single-family residential homes and improvements, routine maintenance and repairs, such as ordinary repairs and maintenance, interior remodeling. Those things would go through the floodplain process and the regular permit process that we have today, but they would not be required to go through the additional special use process. So item D has items 1 through 6, and the rest of this ordinance is unchanged from the previously approved version.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I appreciate the fact that we all got together, we talked about this particular ordinance, and that we're here today to make the change for the residential exclusion and exemption, because it is a very, very important exemption for the people of Simonton, both in Valley Lodge and Orange Road particularly. So I move that we accept ordinance 2026-05 as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Angela. Any further discussion?
Well, yeah. On the agenda, it's stated as ordinance 2026-03.
It's replacing 03 because we've added language, so now it becomes
05.
05.
Got it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, that is unanimous. Item 6B, consider and take action to appoint zoning advisory committee. This is part of our zoning project. Step 1, get the committee, initial committee started. And then I think we have a meeting first week of May already to get kicked off. So this is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simonton, Texas, creating a zoning commission of the City of Simonton, establishing terms and appointing the members. Whereas Section 211.007 of the Texas Local Government Code allows the governing body of a general law municipality to appoint a zoning commission. And whereas that zoning commission shall recommend boundaries for the original zoning districts and appropriate zoning regulations for each district. And whereas any meeting of the zoning commission shall be subject to Chapter 551 Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Simonton that Section 1, the facts and matters of the preamble to this resolution are found to be true and accurate and incorporated for all purposes. Section 2, a zoning commission for the City of Simonton, Texas is hereby established and is subject to all rules and regulations of the City of Simonton and the State of Texas. Section 3, the zoning commission shall consist of 10 members with a 2-year term. There are no limits to how many terms a member can serve. Members shall be appointed by a majority vote of City Council. Members serve at the pleasure of Council. Section 4, the initial members of the zoning commission are Angela King, Andy Perry, C.J. Aber, Laurie Boudreau, Chris Forrest, Barbara Minton, Christy Smith, Jose Pineda, Joe Brook, and Erica Molina. Section 5, the members shall appoint the chair of the commission at the first meeting of the commission. Section 6, this resolution shall be effective upon passage. Council, do we have a motion on item 6B?
Mayor, give me a second. I didn't get a copy of that. She's giving it to me now. Tried to give me the whole thing. She tried to give me the whole thing.
All right, we have a request for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Angela.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kelly. Further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, that is unanimous. Okay, moving on, item 6C. Consider and take action to update building codes. The best practice recommendation that we received from Bureau Veritas is to update our codes so that, and remain updated to within 2 cycles of zoning, I got zoning in my head. Building code, which happens every 3 years. Right now, the city is pretty far behind on some of the codes that we are using. So what we're recommending, or the recommendation you can see from Daniel Svoboda at Bureau Veritas, is switch version of codes. So we're not recommending the most recent, because it's a great idea for the bugs to get worked out of those codes before we update and adopt to that. We have ordinance number 2026-06 attached. It's an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Simonton, Texas, adopting the following International Code Council and National Fire Protection Association codes. 2021 International Fire Code, 2021 International Existing Building Code, 2021 International Property Maintenance Code, 2021 International Mechanical Code, 2021 International Plumbing Code, 2021 International Fuel Gas Code, 2021 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, and 2023 National Electrical Code, providing for severability, providing for a savings, and providing for repealer. I don't know that we need to read the entire ordinance, but I would point out to you that it is noteworthy Section 3, which is at the top of page 2. City Council does hereby call for a public hearing for the adoption of the 2021 International Residential Code for 1 and 2 family dwellings and the 2021 International Building Code as required by Section 214.212 and Section 214.216 of the Texas Local Government Code at the next available meeting of City Council, and upon completion of the hearing shall adopt through ordinance the same. The reason I call that out is the items listed in this ordinance do not include those two sections, the residential code for 1 and 2 family dwellings and the international building code. So you do this as a two-step process, public hearing, affecting home building.
So there'll be a new ordinance after we have the public hearing.
Right, a second one.
Adopting those two.
Or is there a document substitute? You said?
Adopting the other two.
Yes.
Yes, those two. Those by statute require a public hearing.
Okay.
Did each one of those have to have their own public hearing, or can you have a public hearing?
It can be a public hearing on both, they're really just two agenda items, public hearing, and then the adoption of the ordinance is one.
So this was recommended to us by Bureau Veritas, actually in 2020, like fall of 2024. We were trying to make sure we were gathering the data, which version should it be, and so we got some more detail from Mr. Svoboda, bringing it to council to keep us up to date, and call for the public hearing for the other two codes. Do we have a motion for item 6C to update building codes?
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept the ordinance number 2026-06 as presented. I'm not going to read it all.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Okay?
What changes from this, with these new codes, the new building codes, what changes in any of our current permitting? Do we know?
There will be some changes to permitting specific to the different code. For example, the one that I can tell you off the top of my head is roofs. It's not these codes that are on this list, but that will be applicable to the next one. There are guides that tell you, here's the significant difference between the last version and this version. So we'll be able to use that to determine what needs to change from the permitting side, make sure the inspection side is on board with that, and they're familiar with the codes already and what to look for based on the version that you're using.
Follow-up question. Will this have any effect on the zoning? Is there anything overlapping between the zoning and the codes that we have?
This will become a part of that because our entire code from E-code will be merged with our zoning project.
But building and standards, which is typically your codes, and zoning are typically two separate things. They're hand in hand, but zoning regulates density and different things like that, whereas the building code regulates how thick a firewall has to be, if it requires things like that, or what size of business
has to be before it has to be sprinkled, things like that regulates kind of the inside of the building and the construction of it versus where it is and where it is on the lot and things like that.
Okay.
All right. Let's go for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. That is unanimous.
Mayor, if I may, I apologize. I want to go, if I may, go back to 6B, the zoning advisory committee. So I just want to bring up a potential issue, and it's not clearly defined in the law, but the members of council may not be able to serve on a zoning and planning commission because they are self-appointed, and that would be a conflict. The only reason I bring that up, I know that the intent of this board is that purely advisory first step. Eventually, when we set up a zoning and planning commission fully, it cannot be members of council. Those need to be separate. When you don't have one, it can be council under type A. That's why the law isn't very clear. If you're a home rule, it has to be separate. Type A, it can be you, but what if a type A makes one? Can it? Kind of a question mark. And so I only bring that up to say that what I recommend, and I apologize, I should have jumped in earlier, is that those 3 members, I say 2 members and the mayor, the elected officials serve as liaisons to the board, still attend the meetings, still participate, actively participate, contribute, all that. But as far as that's concerned, you have 7 voting members and then 3 liaisons. And then that way you're not serving in a sort of advisory role to yourself, right? If you think about anything that they recommend is going to come to council for approval. And if you already have 2 members of council, it may look like rubber stamping or some of these other conflict provisions may trigger. So again, I recommend that those 3 members and any future members that are appointed from this body serve as sort of that liaison role. So no voting, but of course contributing and giving the word of council and stuff like that. And then that way we keep any of those potential conflict, the common law conflicts separate, and so you're not self-appointing.
But you can't have 3 anyway, right?
We don't
Couldn't
have 3.
com-
That's true.
Well, right, no, if it'd be 3 members of council, yes, I agree. You could do that anyways because then
Right.
you'd have to have a council meeting.
Right.
Exactly. I just mean in this case, it's mayor and 2 members of council, and so, which is fine, but they're 3 elected officials, so I
But
recommend.
it's former mayor, if you look
Not
at the
yet.
wording.
Not yet.
What the meetings
Right, but
afterwards.
once that happens, then yeah, then that can change.
Okay.
I'm just saying that any member of this elected
So
body.
next week, I meant the 1st of May.
Right, serve as a liaison on that board.
Okay, got it.
All right, thank you, Phil. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right, item 7 is adjourned to executive session. We will not be having the session tonight, so we're going to move ahead to item 10 on reports.
Mayor, I missed something that I should have said up front also. I'm like Phil tonight. We should have taken attendance, and I hope she does have it for who's here and who's not on the council, because that should be recorded.
You asking for a roll call for you?
I think you know who's here or not. You just need to document it, I guess is what I'm saying.
It'll be in the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
10.
All right, item 10 under reports, I have a few. Roadway updates. The intersection at FM 1093 and 1489 mobility project. I know there's been a lot in the news about that recently from Commissioner Morales and some other folks. It's great news to hear it's moving along. I did speak to TxDOT this week, and they are of the opinion that it would be very likely 2027 before any work would be on the ground here in Simonton. So we'll keep coordinating to make sure that we're getting the most up-to-date information and the right parties all together. There will be upcoming a public meeting, I think actually 2 public meetings. There are 2 options for the intersection here in Simonton that'll be up for consideration. They'd like public input about that, so as soon as that is set, we'll be sure and get that out to everyone so anybody can attend and give your opinion. There are near-term and a long-term proposals for what it looks like, not at the intersection, but away from the intersection here in front of the vet clinic and City Hall type of area. So we'll see those when they're ready to go. I bet it'll be 3 or 4 months before that meeting, but we'll keep in close contact for when that's happening. Construction of drainage under FM 1093 west of the post office is going to kick off in about 3 to 4 weeks. So if you're driving on 1093, you can see those big concrete square pipes. There is a crossing that's going to go under 1093 to connect the north to the south drainage. This is a Twinwood project. The duration is expected to be about 40 days. And their process will be to close one shoulder and one lane, do the work there, and divert traffic to the one shoulder and one lane opposite it, and then they'll switch and do the other side. So the road should not be closed for any significant amount of time, but we are going to have a month and a half or so to deal with that construction project happening.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I missed the first part of what you said, and my wife accuses me of that all the time. First part. So where exactly are they going to be coming?
It's on 1093,
Right?
west of the post office, not as far as Stansberry.
Okay. Is it right?
So
by the-
where the entrance on the south side that goes into the Twinwood property,
Yes,
past the houses on Barnes Road,
yes.
it's
There.
about equal with that.
And so they're going to go across the road with the drainage, but they already have a place where they drain into Valley Lodge from
This
Twinwood.
is for new construction in the future, to get water across from the north side and south side.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. I would recommend, this is the season for it, so you'll see this probably on our social media, or we'll remind you ongoing since it's weather season. Sign up for Nixle alerts if you're not already enrolled, and we'll be sure and send out when road closures are going to happen, when construction's getting ready to start. As much as we know about it, we'll send those out. If you sign up for Nixle, you get an alert directly to your phone or your email. You choose when to sign up. And you can do that by texting the word Simonton to 888-777. We also send out weather alerts and emergency notices that way. Next item, reminder that all construction in Simonton must file a floodplain permit request, and most construction needs a building permit. If you're not sure what you need, please look at our Building in Simonton page on the city website, which is simontontexas.gov, or call City Hall, and we'll be happy to walk through it with you, the size of your project, what you're working on, and if you don't need a permit, we will tell you. If you do, we'll help you make sure you've got the forms and get through that process as quickly as possible. An update on our IT project here in the chambers. Our IT service provider, Impress, will begin upgrades to our current network equipment and install new cabling from our, I'm going to call it our hub, our closet where all of our IT tech is, into this room. So that's phase one. So it's ready when our partner with CTI is ready to go. They've ordered equipment. They've sent out another crew to do an on-site evaluation and make sure that they've mapped out precisely what's going to be installed. And the city has already acquired, we already own a required piece of equipment to use as a controller for this system that was not in the approved scope of work. So there's not an additional expense for that, is what I'm telling you. Good news, it's something we have works. The city was notified today about an upcoming project, and I would just like to assure everyone the city will require a floodplain and a special use permit for the proposed new project with access through the 93-acre parcel between Ropers and Valley Lodge Section 1 on FM 1093. We received initial contact from Quiddity Engineering this afternoon about this project. I anticipate there will be significant public interest regarding their use for sand mining adjacent to our residential area. We do not have the details. As soon as we do, we will make sure that the process is handled appropriately and consistently with our new SUP. And we'll keep everyone informed, as I know that this will have a significant impact on homes in the area.
You're saying
coming?
that there will be an SUP for that project? Absolutely. Thank you.
Craig Calcamy, our engineer, has actually already sent that feedback to them today. Upcoming items, I've got one more thing I'm gonna tell you before I give you the upcoming schedule. Special thank you to Jay Guti for coming over and helping move the emergency operations equipment from the existing garage to the new. The EOC is all set up in the new bay. It looks great, and they can get to everything they need without having to climb over something that belongs to another committee. So I really appreciate Jay's work on that. Our council member, Ms. Kelly Matula, and Sherry Buck came and worked hard on making the move from one side of the garage to another for the Keep Simonton Beautiful equipment, with the help of the fire department guys who came over to help us move something down off a high shelf, and then they stayed and helped with the actual move. It was fantastic. And to Ben Crail, another neighbor who came, brought his hand truck, and he moved all the heavy things from the one garage to the other, including a refrigerator. So thanks so much to our neighbors and our friends who help us do our spring cleaning and get ready for the fire truck to return to the bay here at Simonton. All right, upcoming canvass of election results will be Tuesday, May 12th at 9 a.m. here at City Hall. Anyone is welcome. The public hearing for the 2 building codes mentioned tonight will be Tuesday, May 19th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. And then the regular council meeting will follow that on Tuesday, May 19th, and will include swearing in of the new mayor and city council. And that, I believe, is it for my reports. Cheyenne, do you have any reports?
I do not.
Okay, great. Phil, anything else? Thank you. Kelly, KSB,
No, ma'am.
how about EDCs? Just quiet at the moment. Great. Council members, does anyone have a report?
I have a question.
Okay.
Looking at 11,
Mhm.
have we started implementing, Cheyenne, the fees?
I mean, yes, but none of these applied.
Okay.
It didn't take me a super long time to locate most of these things.
Got it. This F looked really long. And as far as like several
Well, that
items.
one was from the Attorney General, so I don't think we'll be charging.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lynn?
They got money.
Well, Phil says they got money. Let's work on it.
Oh, that was from
Okay. Well, thank you, council.
What, I have one comment.
Okay.
I know, maybe. All I wanted to do is say that this whole CTI project and the upgrade of the network in this room, Cheyenne and yourself, Mayor, have actually helped a lot in that, because as soon as we got them here to actually see it all, we immediately took action, just like you're doing with the press. I would really like to review that with you later, but they'll jump right on it and got all the things that we have to get done so that we can now put pressure on them to do their part and try to bring this in as quick as possible. So thank you.
You got it. Thank you. All right, and with that, we will adjourn at 7:32. Thank you all for coming.